Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? As usual, thank you for tuning in. Let's check this market. All right, sorry about that. All right, let me share the proper screen. All right, let's look at this market. All right. Um, all right, sorry about that again. Hopefully, I got the echo this time. All right, so here we have it. Man, I was a little bit worried when SPY went straight down 1.4 points, but then we bounced about half, or Qs were down 1.3 at the worst, and that's just generally anything over a percent is not good. Qs have bounced and they're down 1.1, but they didn't bounce very far, and I bet they make a new low by the end of the day. This mark, the price action on this market just absolutely sucks. I mean, it's just not a healthy market right now, but that's fine. It is what it is. Got to trade the tape that's in front of us. Oh gosh, that's what I was doing. Gee, Christ. All right. Um, all right, got to trade the tape that's in front of us now. I got this jacked up. Stop screen. All right, entire. There we go. Is anyone at the max factor last night or the daily factor? Murney won. Murney won the M for Monday max factor. Can you believe that? Can you absolutely? Murney has a 21% yield. The NAV for this quarter is killing it, 23%. You know. Um, anyway, all right. Well, miracles happen. Hey, yeah, I'm glad silver's bouncing today, Mayor. Um, I'm glad I didn't panic and sell at the bottom, or I don't know if that was the bottom. I may be mad here by tomorrow, but I'm glad so far that it looks like hanging on for a bounce. At least, even if you want to sell, it looks like hanging on. Usually, hanging on for a bounce is the right thing to do. All right, Moderna. Yes, this 2020 again. Exactly. Exactly. It just was so. I mean, all it's done is gone from 15 to 1850. That's not a huge deal, but when you also pay a 21% yield, so you paid a 5% yield over the past quarter, and your price is up 23%. You have about a 25% total return over a quarter in a time when everything else is doing terrible. I mean, it just, the max factor is definitely sensitive to trend, and I want it to be momentum and everything. Momentum and trend are such keys to the market, I think. Anyway, all right, that's into the max. I just want to talk about it because it was up. All right, so we've already looked. The market is selling off, trying to bounce, but I bet you we test this. I bet you we're looking at. I bet you we touched the here. I bet you we touch this level either today or tomorrow. Now maybe that's a good place to buy the dip though, but I mean I don't think we're over going down yet. All right, so but yes, Mayor was talking about silver's prospects, and here is silver, and you can see silver has a 10% up gap this morning. Now, when you've fallen from 110 to 65, is that a 50% drop? No, because 65 doubled is 130. Yeah. I mean, my Lord, when you drop that far, it doesn't take much to bounce 10%, but whatever, we'll take it. Hey, Tiger's here. K Yield is doing us some good to stay out of the sea of red, metals hedging, well against speculative holdings. Absolutely. K Yield is doing a good job, and it's why it's my biggest bullish holding at this point in time. Um, okay, there's silver. Let's check out gold. And then we'll check out the nice bounce gold. Nice bounce. I haven't looked in to see what the portfolio balance is yet. I'm going to open that in another window. I can't get into Tasty Trade on my new computer, and I can't get into Discord. But I like kind of using a laptop also for personal stuff, and this for like the station. So, I mean, it's actually working out fine. I just keep my laptop next to me. But if I don't respond instantly in Discord, but you see me making a video and I'm on here all day long, It might be my laptop's dead or something. Send me a text and say, hey, you know, or if you ever send me an email, sometimes send me a text. Sometimes I don't see emails right away. I try to check them once a day, but sometimes I may go a couple, 3 days without checking them. I usually go in there and there's usually, I have something from Jonathan Kwan and I usually have something from Mayor. Mayor sends me a lot of good stuff. Hey, did anyone find somebody yesterday in our afternoon live stream was saying that the problem with these funds is title? That's the one common denominator. But there's some type of article out there making that case. I would love to see that article or the YouTube video or whatever and evaluate it. That'd be some good comment. And you know, it might well be. Who knows? It might well be. All right, so let's look at the divas. I need to get a new name for these guys. I'm thinking about calling them. I had a new name for them last night. They are definitely acting like divas. I mean, so now blocks didn't really gap down 1%, did it? Oh yeah, it did. It was down yesterday because of X day. It lost 13 cents on the open just due to X day, and then it continued to sell off. Gosh darn it, blocks are only down 1%. I mean, it's, you know. All right, let's check out everyone's favorite ULTY from Yieldmax. Yeah. Nice job, Yieldmax, outperforming blocks. This is starting to act more like a blue chip fund. I think they just, really, after I look at this fund, it looks to me like that's GPTY kind of with a higher yield. Or it's a combination of GPTY, which is a great fund, and maybe a combination of GTY and the old ULTY, because they still have they still have some, you know, high volatility stuff in there too. But they try to make it more like GPTY. Anyway, we'll see. It's working. Yeah, it's working, I guess, whatever. That blocks chart wasn't adjusted for dividends. And actually that 13 cents wasn't factored in. It's like the money disappeared. So let's go back and, because it looked pretty bad. It doesn't look great here. So the money did basically disappear. You closed at 1772 one day. It opened at 1739. That's what is that? 33 cents or something. Anyway, that 13 cents payout was factored in that, and then the market kept selling off. Or no, actually, the dividend was the day before. You closed at 1842, opened at 1827 or something. That was the dividend, and then the market sold off, and then sold off again. All right, so blocks. Let's look at ULTI. Last night in the late night live stream, there was a ULTI fan. I forget who it was. Somebody that likes ULTI and ULTY, which is fine. It's just it's rare. It's getting rarer and rarer nowadays to find somebody that's into those. But last summer, that's all anyone talked about. You know. All right. Well, I mean, ULTI is doing pretty dang good. What's going on with blocks? ULTI is up 4.29 and blocks is freaking in the gutter. Well, let's look at what ULTI, for one thing, has crypto, or I bet it has gold. I wonder if they have gold in their top 10 or some type of exposure to that kind of stuff. Look at this. They have Lumentum Holdings, Liquidity, and that's a growth chart right there. Holy cow, that's a growthy looking chart. Bloom Energy, Coherent, it's Alti. It's the old build of ULTY. This is how ULTY used to do. Now, but ULTY did this kind of build with callers, so they didn't have this kind of downside. Anyway, Applied Optoelectrics, TerraWolf, Applied Digital. This is, I mean, yeah, I mean, this is basically the old build of ULTY. But like I say, unlike ULTY, these guys have unlimited upside and unlimited downside. They're basically one-to-one exposure, so they do have the chance to have a huge day like they're having today. But they also have the chance to be down 7% like they were yesterday or whatever. All right, so that's ULTI. Now let's look at K-Yield. We got the bad ones out of the way first. Let's get to the good ones. All right, so K-Yield. So that big gap down was due to the dividend, but it was also due to the market falling, or it's due to precious metals also. They took a big hit. Because of precious metals, they bounced since then. So yeah, K-Yield has 8% miners, silver miners, and they have 7% GDX. Look at that, Teradyne is killing it. Well, you want to talk about a man? That's something else. Look at that. I'll make sure you guys can see that. Am I sharing the screen, or is everything cool? Yeah. All right. Intel, BWXT, AMD, Howmet Aerospace, Vistra Corp is their only dog, and Broadcom, believe it or not. Huh. Well, let's look at K-Yield on here. How are the Philippines treating you out there, Michael? You still enjoying living overseas? So yeah, you can see here K-Yield bounced big. Oh, was that yesterday or this morning? No, that was shit. That was this morning's bar. These are 30-minute bars, okay? And then it gapped the other way. These aren't super liquid, so I mean they have probably wide bid-ask spread, but I mean, oh, we can look right there. It's bid at 88, asked at bid at 87, asked at 91. So no, that's not correct. Doesn't have a particularly big wide, but it can still skip over numbers like that. Let's go check the pros versus Joes. Okay, well, let's see. I usually adjust the moving averages to be exponential, yeah, and to go to like the 9-period moving average and the 100-period moving average. But in either case, you can see that when this is trending up, it means people are taking off hedges, especially pros relative to Joes, or taking off hedges. However, the first warning sign is when the top line, the fast moving average, turns red. And it turned red, I mean, it's a win. So it's been doing that, but the longer moving average is still moving up. When they both go down, you have a problem, like we had in November 6th, get out of the freaking way. And sure enough, by November 19th, we were in the dumps. Same thing with mid-October. Anyway, and same thing with April last year. Nothing good happens under the moving average for this one, especially when both moving averages are red and trending down. Right now, we have one moving average, the faster moving average, trending down, but at least it's still on top of the slower moving average, and the slower moving average still moving up. So this is a different look than last April and March. So maybe I'm worried for no reason. But this is just one slice of the volatility puzzle, and just looking at it. It's a very myopic, simplistic way to look at it, but I got it from Tasty Trade. It's a thing that people look at. VIX divided by VIX is an actual thing, but Tasty Trade didn't make it into an indicator. But you can also tell when both are trending up and they're both green, clear sailing ahead, which is it's what we've been the situation we've been in for a while. Let's pull it up. Let's pull up the. Now that's Bitcoin underneath. This is not a Bitcoin. I don't have a VIX versus VIX on the Bitcoin. I darn sure wish I did. On something like the SPY, I mean, right here we get an all clear signal. And it was late. It was May 20th, but I mean, the market went from 583 until we started getting warning signals. It was like 650. The first, and then when you got a double, a double, in other words, a sell signal, it was right up here around 660, and the market did sell off in early October, and it kind of whipsawed you around a little bit, but there was definitely something going on with the market. You guys remember October, November is nasty. So, and pros were putting on hedges when it's flowing this way. They're taking off hedges relative to the Joes. All right, now speaking of the pros putting on hedges, I have something to show you guys, or I wanted to, did you guys see, Well, I'll just stick with what I was saying. To take your wife to dinner and use protection trade. I know SB was interested in that. That one worked out. Anyway, all right. So, does everyone read Matthew Tuttle's newsletter? If you don't, you need to start reading it today. Now, I'm going to share the link with you. Yeah, the heat newsletter. Okay, he has a Substack too, but the heat formula, he's really into, there it is. Well, we'll go to Total Capital Management. Yeah, there it is. Join, get the daily heat. Okay, yeah, that is the deal right there. The heat formula. I think that's it right there. So copy. Anyway, if you don't have that, send it to you. Now, I'm real interested in him because he's an option bro and he's a hedging bro. He's obsessed with, and that's why he's coming out with this no bleed tail risk fund. Well, today he wrote a, just go read his post. He wrote an idea for a 1 day hedge, a hedge that you could put on every day that doesn't bleed too much. It does bleed a little bit. Anyway, I'm going to have some content on it later, but I highly encourage everyone to go read it. Jack's almost caught an armadillo this morning. A dillo. You know, Austin's famous for armadillos. I mean, the Armadillo World Headquarters was a famous bar in the 70s that Willie Nelson and Waylon Jennings and the Outlaw crew that's when they kind of came into their own early 70s. But anyway, and you see lots of them. But anyway, Jack saw one this morning. I was just you know how Jack chases soda pop too much. You know, he chases the dough. But that's when he was younger. I've trained him where he really doesn't anymore. So we walk outside. There's a doe standing like 10 foot to our right. We come around a car, and I see the doe because I'm taller than Jax. Jax doesn't see her yet, but I go, Jax, we aren't going to chase the doe. She's our friend. And we walk around the car. Jax sees the doe, keeps walking. He's fine. I'm so proud of him. Well, what I don't see is Jax is looking. I'm looking at the doe. Jax is looking across the street, and I'll be darned if there's an armadillo just hauling the butt across the street, and Jax takes off. You know, and I've never, I mean, you know, he doesn't listen super well. So I holler, Jackson, stop. Anyway, and he gets right to it. I'm picturing he's going to pick it up and try to hurt it or something. Now, I know armadillos can roll into a ball, and I know they aren't defenseless, but still, I didn't want to deal with that. But he's a good dog. But as soon as I hollered at him, he backed off. He's like, I just wanted to check him out, Dad. I just wanted to spell him. Isn't that right, Jackson? He's getting so good about letting me talk also, at least today, because he hasn't come over and, you know, and got upset with me. Anyway, but that's my story for this morning. I'm going to go make some video on, I really like this Matthew Tuttle hedge. It's an overlay that you can put on with ODTE options. There's some guys in my Discord that might like it. It has nothing to do with high yield funds really, but I just like to make option content. I haven't done it in a while, so I'm going to get out of here and go make that. But, well, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Mayor. Yes, it is expensive. It is a lot of work, but I love that kind of stuff. I eat that stuff up. And actually, if you read the last sentence, he didn't recommend that you do it. He's just showing people how to do it for people like me that eat that stuff up. But he said, but anyway, so here's what I did. I put the trade in. We're going to study it. I mean, I agree with you. It is expensive. I hate bleeding to death, and this one does have a little bit of bleed. But guess what? I took his trade and I put it into option strat, and then I put a better one in there. So I'm gonna make some content on it. We'll send it to Matthew, and we'll let him know what a better trade would be. I'm just totally joking. I'm totally an amateur option trader, but I give you a different idea on how to hedge up with zero DTs. Does not better, not worse. Maybe it's just different. Anyway. But I think that'll be fun. I haven't done any content in a while, and I love options so much. Yeah, but anyway, I just think the newsletter is good for general information purposes. After he talked about that option trade, he went down and talked about the macro events happening in the market. And, you know, I mean, there's two things I never miss, and that's the newsletter on Substack that, what's his name? Option Delta. That guy is, you could add up how smart I am and multiply it by how smart Rod is and multiply that by how smart Brad is. And we wouldn't be as smart as Option Delta. That guy is a great guy. I like his content. Anyway, but I really like Matthew's. I really like his content too. So those are two things I read every day. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to get out of here and make that content unless there's anything we forgot to talk about. Anything that look at my alternative first. Look, my alternative for Matthew's idea is plus 305, and Matthew's idea is down $90 right now. So stick around and we'll look at the content. We'll take a look at. I mean, I'll make this content, and the option bros can watch it. If you guys are high yield bros, that's fine. You don't have to watch it. It's not a big deal. But I'm going to make some option content. All right, guys. Well, like I say, barring anything that we forgot to talk about or any story I forgot to tell you, I hope you like my story about Jackson and the armadillo. But I'm really proud about Jackson, about how, because he used to not be able to control himself when he saw a deer. Jackson he's a border collie. So he's a herding dog. Don't border collies, don't they herd cattle and stuff? Isn't that what they do when they're working dogs? They herd livestock, goats, cattle. Yeah, that's exactly what they do. I've seen on the internet. Border collies are used to keep the goats and the sheeps and from running, if there's a stray, the border collie will run out and run them back. Anyway, so Jack is obsessed with little things on hoofs. It's his nature. But he's a city dog or whatever. We have deer in the city, so we don't let him chase the deer. The main thing, of course, I'm worried about that he's not going to hurt the deer. The deer aren't going to hurt him. I'm worried that somebody's going to get hit by a car. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening to my dog stories. Maybe I should become a dog influencer. Guys, I appreciate you so much. And remember, everything you hear here is not financial advice. It is, it's fun and entertainment only. I like to say maybe research and entertainment. Research and entertainment only. But then as far as execution goes, we're going to go, at least I do. I have somebody, I mean, for my big money, yes, I have play money, but for my retirement, I have somebody that I use. So anyway, go talk to somebody that knows what they're doing. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I hope you guys have a good day. I'll talk to you later.